getting to the point, but taking the scenic route to get there. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
It's the Bottom Line on 100.7 The Score, 107thescore.com. Clint Scott, Captain Snead, J6 Mafia behind the glass. Let's jump right into a jam-packed last segment of hour number one. Jackson, sorry, we yet again have an elated Action Jackson's play of the day.
Marion Williams jump pass back to Davion Harmon. Teardrop down to a double team to Kevin O'Banner. Look out, Bacho driving. He's hit. Count the basket. He fouls with a left-hand finish. Right side, Tyson. Drive, space, falls down. Ended up being an alley-oop. Harmon, Bacho, finish.
So that's something, you're talking about things that you can tell from
Yeah,
game
Bacho's
one.
a dude.
Bacho's a dude, but you can also just tell he's way more comfortable on the court.
Yeah.
He's, speaking of just being fluid, just his movement just looks like you would expect a developing big guy to look. And so getting his first double-double as a Red Raider was awesome. And like I said, especially for him, sky's the ceiling for him. Hopefully he reaches it. All right, it's time to give away a secret word. We do so every weekday at 10:45, 12:45, and 2:45. It is a chance to win $10,000. We've teamed up with the Home Zone, making your house a home. To do so, we'll give that grand prize away on November 18th. All you have to do is take this secret word to 107thescore.com. Enter it there. More times you enter, boy, just the better your chances are at winning. Today, November 8th, on a Tuesday, it's another two-parter. At 12:45, the secret word is Sun Devils. The Arizona State Sun Devils fired Herm Edwards this year. All right. Hit us up with the Kailys Dailys.
How do you like the pufferfish?
I enjoy the pufferfish from what I've seen.
So do you know how a pufferfish puffs itself up?
It holds its breath. I have no idea.
Pretty close. And do you have any idea why a pufferfish does it?
Self-defense.
I think you're right. The pufferfish have this unique ability to inflate their body with water in order to double their size as a defense mechanism to ward off predators. How about that?
How about that?
The round, rigid shape of pufferfish takes on is much more difficult to catch than their normal body shape. Pufferfish is a pufferfish.
Pufferfish, yeah.
It's not pufferfishes.
Pufferfishes. Mooses. Elks. Deerses. Mices.
Pufferfish puff their body up by unhinging their jaw. It allows them to widen their mouths. We're talking hippopotamuses there. Yeah.
Hippopotamuses.
And they inhale large amounts of water into their stomach, which has evolved to fold on itself to increase its volume. That's how they get themselves much bigger. How about that? Yeah.
The animals that dislocate their jaws freak me out when I see it. Like, I can't, not that I'm just like, if you're Googling, I can't wait to watch this video of this snake eat this gazelle.
Yeah.
Weirdo. Like, I can't watch this, though. It just makes my face hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah. You ever have people that are like, oh, look, I can dislocate my finger and put it back because they've had so many injuries?
I've caught a pufferfish.
You caught a pufferfish.
I was fishing and it got all puffed all up once I brought it up.
Yeah, he said, "Watch this, dude."
Is that at a Buffalo Lake?
Yeah.
Known for its pufferfish.
And when I threw him back in the water, he was still all puffy. He just like bounced on the top of the water.
Wow. You skipped and watch how many bounces I can get.
And then once he like deflated, he just kind of sunk back and swam away.
That's funny. I just randomly drooled on myself. Let's girl Snead.
You unhinging your jaw to do so? Wow. We get this on the Aids Flooring Center chat line. Walton's Fro is immaculate. It's pretty good. Pretty good.
What?
Kerwin Walton's Fro. It's pretty nice. A flawless face mask costs need a root. At least one ref knows what a face mask is.
All right.
Feels like there's a shot back
one thanks. Two, and this is not a shot at this texture. However, I will say this because I know there's several people asking me to comment on the other calls. So I'll just put it this way: 3. I officially have no comment on any of that. 4, if you thought that you were going to get me during Grill Snead to openly, publicly answer and criticize other guys, which I'm contractually obligated and not to do, you're probably barking up the wrong tree. Ding. Cliche. So, I mean, 5. I didn't see a down in the football game other than the game break where they showed the first punt return for a touchdown. 6, if you think that these 2 plays that you're upset about cost you the game, then you're just looking to blame the referees. So there. 7, if any of you people who are criticizing the officials actually had to make a big call in a big game, you would make brown in your pants if you had to think about it.
We'll just give it a second. We get this on the Yates Flooring. I was waiting.
Hey, brown in your pants actually means you couldn't stand there and do it. You would be crying in your beer. You would be like, what's going on here? I can't even do this. You have no idea.
We get this on the Yates Flooring Center chat
10,
line.
I don't come down to McDonald's and complain about the way you make the fries. Okay? Maybe I do, but I won't. I'm not going to continue to.
There's one person I co-host with that certainly does that. Except it's not about the fries. It's that they didn't give them the ketchup that they asked for.
I can't. I'm sorry. We got into a little shtick there.
No, I'm here for it. I'm just waiting to see how high we go.
No, I'm not going to do that. That's.
We get this on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. You can't argue. It looked beautiful seeing an offense finally flow with the true point. No argument on this side.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't get to see very much of it, but what I saw looked good. I saw a little bit of the offense, and it was nice to see guys. The texture was dead on. It was nice to see guys other than O'Banner knock down threes.
Yep. Kobe says, I think the corral was full, but not all that loud. Best student section in the country. Get out of here.
Right.
Get out of here.
Not even the best student section in Travis County.
Raiders' dad says, meanwhile in the LBK, we are partying.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean,
it really is. I mean, it's you have, and the 2 that I'm going to are the teams that were just jumping out in my face, just how noticeable it was. You have 2 teams with a lot of expectations coming in this year with TCU and Texas, and you haven't been able to see that, especially about TCU, with expectations in a long time. And they are one of the few teams in the conference that returns essentially everybody, especially key players. And they're also one of the few cases where they had Mike Miles was testing the waters to the NBA and just to leave and get out of Fort Worth. And he actually stayed. I don't know how Jamie Dixon did it, but he stayed. And then you don't show up, especially from the excitement of almost taking down Arizona last year. Probably should have won that game. Probably doesn't get you dubs, but, you know, you almost took down a number 1 seed. You're playing lights out at the end of last year. Look at this purple wave of just empty seats. Look at this.
But by gosh, you know, we're going to put up everything in the world to make sure that people from other schools don't come in and buy our tickets.
Yeah, I mean, it's a freaking joke over there, man.
You know, and TCU AD, dude, do the AD. Be better. Be better than that, dude. That's be better.
We get this from Panhandle Raider. Snead, did you start out refereeing high school or straight into college ball?
High school. I did high school for, a little over 15 years.
We get this from Jerry. Contractually obligated to not call out major mistakes. That system needs a slight overhaul. Love you, Snead.
Yeah, okay. All right. There's a clause about criticism of officials. I mean, hey, I know everyone wants to get their official up there on a pedestal or in a press conference. They should be accountable. Hold them accountable. Put them in a press conference. You know, put them up there. And so, what are you gonna say? You know, you're gonna. Why did you call a face mask? Because it looked like a face mask. You know, I'm sorry. This is what I would say. I'm sorry I didn't get 17 slow motion replays like you did on the big screen while holding your Budweiser from the 17th row, or sitting at home on your Barca lounger, you know, with your poodle in your lap eating a pizza, and say, I got to look at it one time in fast motion with fast players with other guys hitting him. Sorry.
We get this on the way out for our number one from Raiders' dad. Young William Raider is a double jointed and can hyperextend his elbows. He gets that voodoo from his mom.
By the way,
it's gross.
Any of you guys that want to come out there, it's so easy to do. Come on out here. We can use guys like you.
It's true. Probably couldn't emotionally handle it.
No, I promise you they couldn't.
I would throw the flag back at the first person.
I had two players spitting in my face while they were talking to me during the game Saturday night. Couldn't even do it.
That'll do it for our number one. Thanks to Snead. We'll be back with more next.
Bringing you the truth, or something like the truth. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Must be a Tuesday. Here's some Power Rangers. For some reason it means that we're giving out grades in the Big 12, as we do on Tuesdays. Clint Scott with Jamie Lynn, Jackson Frazier. It's the Bottom Line on 100.7 The Score and 107thescore.com. Hit us up on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Hey, give us your grades too. You don't have to go through all the Big 12. If you don't want to, you just want to do one team, that's fine. Whatever you have, we'll take there on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. And Jamie, I'll let you give out your grades first. But before we do that, as you look at the results from this Saturday, what surprised you the most? Texas beats Kansas State at home 34-27. Iowa State gets its first conference win at home 31-14 over the Mountaineers. Kansas gets bowl eligible, beating Oklahoma State 37-16 in Lawrence. Baylor goes into Norman and wins 38-35, and of course TCU takes down the Red Raiders in Fort Worth 34-24.
The 16 points scored by Oklahoma State was shocking, but knowing that the Cowboys went with their backup quarterback, a really inexperienced quarterback, makes a lot of sense there. But the separation there between Kansas and Oklahoma State was shocking. If you had told me before the game it was going to end up being a 38-35 Kansas win, that wouldn't have shocked me. But whatever it was, at 38-16, that was shocking to me.
And all the bulk of those points came kind of late, and you saw a freshman come out, and I thought it was interesting, right? Because the week before, when Sanders gets knocked out, and again, this is looking at your opponent for this week now, it was Gundy's son, and so when they threw out Rangel, I was interested by the moves. 4-star prospect. I don't know if he is like, and it was, to be honest, was hard to tell from Saturday, but I also think that Cowboys team has quit a little bit on them. I mean, no reason that the Cowboys defensive front should be getting blown off the ball every other play by the Kansas offensive line. Zero. I mean, move the ball on them, sure, but blown off the line of scrimmage should not happen.
Yeah.
But I don't know if Rangel, if that's their, like, this is the future or what, or if it was, you know, a guy we're excited about. We don't know yet, but it's going to be better than you saw in Manhattan with Gundy. Whatever it was, I mean, it wasn't pretty.
Boy, you just think about the last few weeks for Oklahoma State, right?
They hate the state of Kansas, I'll tell you that. They don't want to go north anymore.
Yeah, and then even expand that out to just blowing the double-digit lead against TCU. I mean, it's been a rough go of it for the Cowboys. And
having a good emotional win against Texas in the middle of that, I mean, roller coaster for sure. It's just because I think they have a good running game, or I thought they did before this, and I still think that they do when everyone's bought in. But I tell you what, it's crazy to me how much they need Spencer Sanders. It makes sense. Experienced quarterback. He's won a lot of games for the Cowboys, but I was shocked to the level that is at for Oklahoma State. I think I was biggest one I was shocked with was not that Iowa State won at home, but just that they put up 31 points.
Yeah.
I didn't think they'd reach 30 this year. I don't care if it was against West Virginia or not.
Yeah, we knew West Virginia's defense wasn't wasn't very good, but still, that was a little bit surprising.
Yeah. All right, Dr. Professor Lent.
Okay.
Please hand out your conference grades.
I got 1A, and it's an A+, and it goes to TCU. I don't know how you can get around that. They're just so much better than I thought that they would be. Big drop-off after that. I'm going to give B's to Baylor, Texas, and Kansas State. Actually, behind them in the standings, Kansas is at 3-3. I'm giving Kansas a B+ because I base mine off of expectations of what I thought they would be. I'll put the Red Raiders at a B-. I'll put Oklahoma and Oklahoma State at a C+. Again, expectations. I thought both those teams would be way, way better. And then I got Iowa State and West Virginia. They're both failing.
Both failing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think this is probably going to be the most different at this point of the season that ours have been the most, not exactly lockstep, but pretty close. Of course, we'll start out in the same place. A+ for TCU, 9-0, undefeated is undefeated. Right now, it is a race to see who will meet them in the Big 12 championship game. Now, they don't have that spot locked, but it would, at this point, I'd be shocked if they weren't one of the two. I do have one A- on the board, and it is the Baylor Bears, and part of that is now they're on a 3-game winning streak, and 2 of those were road games that they did it. It's like if you're facing Baylor now, you're facing them at the wrong part of the season. We say that about teams every single season, and right now the Bears have started to figure it out, and as you mentioned, they're one of 3 teams right now sitting at 6-3 overall, 4-2 in conference play, in control of their own destiny.
Mm-hmm.
And so they have an A- just because they are on the 3-game winning streak part of that record. Go to B+ for Texas. They stand alone there, and that's because they go into Manhattan and win. And same thing, control their own destiny. If they do go on a winning streak on this back half, they will, much like Baylor, will go into that A category, which they have to face them pretty quickly. At a B, I have both schools from Kansas. For K-State, the reason they dropped out of the A category all the way to a B for me is that when you have everything out in front of you as far as making it to the conference championship game, you allowed 269 yards on the ground and lost at home.
Yeah.
That is not the sign of a great conference leading team. And by the way, their reward, speaking of the Bears, is a road trip to Waco this week. Kansas is a B because, at this point, you mentioned expectations. Bowl eligibility in Lawrence right now means everything, and they did it. There is a wonder, again, with this 7-game stretch, most of without Daniels, who I think will start this week. And also, one of their better running backs, and they still have Devin Neal, but Daniel Highshaw out for the rest of the season. Would they get to that win? And now they're sitting at 3-3 in conference play, and the fact that it won't happen, but mathematically still a chance to play their way into a Big 12 championship position is astounding to me. C+ Oklahoma State, I mean, again, that was just looking more and more like a mess. Good news is if you're talking about bowl eligible, well, they already are.
They already are.
But as far as the championship kind of hopes, that's fading very fast. At C-, I have Oklahoma and Texas Tech. Oklahoma, clearly a disappointing season, and it looks even more interesting now down the stretch, still sitting at that, speaking of teams trying to get bowl eligible, 5-4 mark. Now they're at West Virginia, home for Bedlam, in Lubbock. This is something to keep your eye on. Do I think that they'll go on a 4-game losing stretch? Probably not, but until they reach to that 6 mark, it's very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Texas Tech, again, I mean, back-to-back disappointing fourth quarters, right? Back-to-back weeks of, for different reasons, just wanting to pull your hair out, offensive production, whether it's execution, play calling, whatever you want to look at.
But expectations before the season, would you have not put them right where they are?
Sure. That's fair. And again, I was a 6-6 guy. Have every route ahead of you to get to that. But I think when you're going off of how expectations change for me, and where you were position-wise in games.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's what it gets me. And maybe it's just how deflating that fourth quarter felt in TCU. Maybe it's a little bit of an overreaction, but
and maybe the fact that it was some self-inflicted things have really hurt you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because it goes against the control what you can control,
Mm-hmm.
right? At a D+, I have Iowa State. I mean, how much momentum can one win finally get you? You're going to find out this week in Stillwater. 1-5 in league play.
Boy, that's a tough one to pick this weekend.
Yeah, but truly, because the offense struggled, and Iowa State's defense
is really good.
Is really, really good. And so can they have, I don't know, even 75% of what they had at home against West Virginia? You're going to find out. Speaking of a team still technically can get bowl eligible, there's one. And then D-, probably should give them an F. Neil Brown's gone next year, right?
You would think so. You would think so.
Yeah. So there are my Dr. Professor Scott's Vikings grades. Dr. Professor Frazier, take it away.
So TCU is my only team in the A range. They're an A+. I have UT and Baylor both at a B+. I have K-State at a B. Oklahoma State at a B-. Tech at a B-. Kansas at a B-. Then I have OU as the only team in the C range, just at a flat C. I have Iowa State at a D+, and West Virginia at a D flat.
I never had a D flat written out on my paper.
You didn't?
No.
Mm.
Unless I guess it was a music class. There you go. There's a note joke for you.
So you were
nerds with me there too.
You were strongly in the D+ or D- range?
Yeah. Yeah. D-. It's the bottom line on 100.7 The Score and 107thescore.com. When we come back, Take versus Take, a Tuesday edition. Jackson has the questions. Back with more next.
Bringing you the truth, or something like the truth. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Time for the fastest growing game show in the world. Take versus Take. You've got the bottom line on 100.7 The Score and 107thescore.com. Your contenders today for the Take versus Take Tuesday Championship. Myself, the Viking. Himself, the Little Crouton. Clint Scott versus Jamie Lent. Jackson Frazier behind the glass taking care of us. Also, your questionnaire extraordinaire. Jamie, how are you feeling today?
Not very good. Yeah. Lunch just not sitting right with me.
Ooh, what was for lunch?
Some quesadillas.
What kind?
Pulled pork.
All right, point me. I'm just kidding. Jackson gives the points away. It actually sounds delicious. Go for it, Jackson.
Okay, so I have an opening question to decide where this question goes. Have either of y'all ever participated in Black Friday?
No, I haven't. I have my mom did a few times. My sisters did. My wife has a couple of times, but couldn't pay me enough.
I've gone out with my wife a few times, not like early in the morning or anything like that, but just, I don't know, probably 9 or 10 o'clock just to go out. And we didn't go anywhere where it was packed or anything like that. So I don't know if you would consider it real life Black Friday shopping. It was just that we went out shopping the day after Thanksgiving.
Jamie's not outside of the quarter zip store at like 3:30 in the morning, just face pressed to the glass like, when are you guys opening? Let me in. I need my Under Armour.
Yeah, that would be the only thing that would get me out. That was the only thing that would get me out of bed early.
Where's your tennis shoes for tennis? I need them. Great deals.
That actually does go into my question, though. Where is a place that you would go to do the early morning Black Friday shopping?
Well, I just answered Jamie's for him. So.
And so we'll start with Clint.
Man, I would have to know, and this is how far out I am on Black Friday. Do they like let you know what's going to be on sale, or is it like,
oh yeah,
or you?
Yeah.
So it's not like you run in and just find, oh, I can't believe this is this low.
Yeah, no, they let you know in advance.
Mine would probably be, it would have to be Cabela's, and I would have to know, like I said, so that's good that they do that. Like, essentially, like what rods, and like I'm going all the way to the fishing section and just stocking up, and just probably not even looking at a certain point what I'm getting. I'm just doing the arm in the aisle thing, just throwing as much as I can, because I'm assuming in this situation I'm fighting people off that are after the same stuff, whacking them in the head, bringing my racket just in case. That was probably, if there was something that I knew that I would really get a good deal on that I wanted, would be Cabela's.
Yeah, I mean, the Under Armour store is the only thing that, besides tennis equipment, Under Armour is pretty much all I purchase. So, yeah, the Under Armour store would be tops on my list.
Tops.
I'm going to go with Clint, because that's actually the place I went the one time I've ever done. Like,
oh, really?
Going at midnight.
What'd you get?
I just got a whole bunch of fishing stuff. I got like a rod and a reel and a whole bunch of baits. and I didn't know how cheap everything was. And I remember I went back like a week later and tried to buy like half of that, and it was like twice as expensive.
Yeah.
And so I guess it was a pretty good deal.
Maybe
Cabela's doesn't seem like the place that would be all into Black Friday shopping, but
It was actually
Just
crazy.
never know.
I woke up.
really, a lot of people there.
I left my house at like 1 a.m. Drove to the Cabela's like 30 minutes away, and it was wrapped around the building. Like I was on the very back side of the building. People were there was already
everybody
that many
running
people
in
there.
there to get their half off buffalo burgers, and right. If it's anything like the deals I had for like a certain store that went out a few years ago, so it's like, boy, more stores need to go out of business, so they have these going away sales. No, that's not what I'm saying. Maybe I need to. Maybe I need to do that this year. I say that knowing I'm not going to. Team Cyber Monday.
Yeah, Cyber
Yeah,
Monday
seems better. Yeah.
All right, the second question, Jamie. This is outside of actual athletes that were in movies. Who is the best movie athlete, sports athlete?
So a real life athlete that was in movies.
Outside of them, just so like the character itself, like who was the best athlete?
Oh, I gotcha. I see what you're saying.
But you can't pick like Michael Jordan. That doesn't count.
Oh, okay. So an actor that played an athlete.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Bill Murray in Space Jam. He was terrific. He had so many good lines. Yeah, I don't play defense. I mean, there was just
You give it to the bunny.
yeah,
We're on defense. Oh yeah, listen to Mike. Listen to Mike.
yeah, yeah,
Let me go ice my knees.
yeah. I thought he was terrific. He was one of the best parts of that movie.
So if you're going off of just straight performance, where you went, boy, that guy could play, if he was a real life athlete at that level, could be in the NFL, MLB, NBA. It's obviously Bow Wow from Little Mike, because he was Michael Jordan's talent. Right? Like, I mean, he was literally like Mike, and then was also, re-rapping a Curtis Blow song that for a long time I did not know was not a Bow Wow original. So feel kind of slighted in that, but whatever. We get past it because he was just so dang good on the court.
It was pretty good.
That's why every single time I
But
see
it really
shoes on
wasn't
a
him.
power line, I knock them down and put them on.
Yeah, I was gonna say it really wasn't him. It was the shoes.
You gotta believe though, Jamie.
And the disappointing part is, they weren't even Jordans. Disappointing.
I think I have to go with Jamie because, like he said, it was just in the shoes. It wasn't him.
Yeah.
And Bill Murray was him.
Bill Murray was
Wasn't even that
awesome.
good on the court. What do you do? Trip him on star? I feel
It's
slightly
a glue
bad.
guy. You need those on the court.
He's a glue guy.
All right, Clint. We talk about food a lot, and we kind of have like our mainstays of food, like pizza, wings.
Mm-hmm.
What's a food that we haven't talked about that you really like? So basically, like the most underrated food, in your opinion.
Ooh, the most underrated food. That's You know what's something we actually don't talk about a lot, and they're awesome. Like it should be. It's like a staple for a lot of people. Somehow we don't bring up tacos ever. Like, name one time that we have brought up tacos, and they're fantastic. They're so good. Hard shell, soft shell. I mean, barbacoa, ground beef, chicken, pork, whatever you want to go to, from crazy to simple. And they're appreciated everywhere. And you can go from fast food to, tacos, street tacos, taco stand, all the way up to like nice restaurants. They're so good. Like, if you don't know what to get, it's like the chicken strip of like Tex-Mex, right? Like, well, I'll try the tacos. I bet they'll be good.
Okay.
It's crazy that we don't talk about them more.
Mm-hmm.
R.I.P. Lone Wolf, by the way. Miss you.
I'm gonna go with spaghetti. Man, I think spaghetti is fantastic, and every time we have it at our house, I'm all for it. With some good meat sauce, you can have meatballs if you want, but good meat sauce with spaghetti, it's hard to beat with some garlic toast on the side. Give me some.
Any Parmesan?
For others in my family, not me.
Underrated move is doing the red chili peppers on spaghetti, like you do on pizza. Jamie disagree.
No, I'm not doing any red hot chili peppers.
I think I'm gonna go with Clint though. Tacos are the most underrated food out there,
Tacos are pretty good.
top to bottom.
Mm-hmm. I don't feel like they're underrated. I think tacos get their love. I mean, everybody talks about Tacos Tuesday, and to me, they're not. That's not an underrated food.
Tacos Tuesday. Taco
Yeah.
Tuesday.
Taco Tuesday.
It should be called Tacos Tuesday though, because you're not just getting.
You're not just eating
taco,
one, right? If you're only eating one, you're doing it wrong. Yeah.
You guys don't have spaghetti Saturday?
Actually, we eat spaghetti a lot, and we do different versions of it. But
I'd
we eat
say
spaghetti
it's
in
like
the
a
house.
once every 3 weeks, maybe. Seems like it.
Mm-hmm.
The youngest loves spaghetti, so
It's so easy too. Now you can make it, fancy, of course, and we'll make our own sauce every once in a while, and it's delicious. But I'm also not against. Really, I don't have of the national branded jars and jugs of whatever. I really don't have one that I'm like, I can't believe we got this one. Prego. Get out of here. I want an Emerald. I'm not like that. I kind of like them all.
that's good.
It's like I know what a fancier version is or what a nicer version is, but I also have no standards with it.
It's also good to know that you have no standards.
I have no standards.
Mm-hmm.
We get this because JL puts ketchup on his tacos, and we're all trying to forget that atrocity, Clint. Oh, really? I thought that was just fajitas. Do you do it on tacos too?
Yes.
Doing ketchup tacos over there?
Yes.
That's weird. You do you, but that's weird.
Because it's so different
It's weird.
than hot sauce.
It is.
So different.
It's so different. Is that really Bucky? It is different. It's way different. We're going to go eat some ketchup tacos in the break. We'll do a blind ketchup tasting too.
Bringing you the truth, or something like the truth. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
It's the Bottom Line on 100.7 The Score, 100.7thescore.com. Clint Scott with Jamie Lynn and Jackson Frazier. 10 more minutes of hour number 2, going all the way up to 3 o'clock today. Hit us up on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Thoughts, comments, questions. I was your take versus take winner today. I haven't beat you in a long time.
Oh,
Felt
yeah?
like I was getting the monkey off my back
It's good.
a little bit. I'm going to take down Jackson on the reg, so I'm not worried about tomorrow.
You should be.
Bobby Hot Dog says, JL, did you know that tacos only get their love because LeBron came up with the concept of Taco Tuesday and is wholly responsible for their popularity?
We owe him so much.
Oh, him so
What a fantastic leader that we have to lead us all to such great measures.
Get spaghetti standards, weed strain. Number 56, Daniel Bateman, linebacker for the Washington Sentinels, best on-screen athlete. I also quote him just...
Nice hit, Shane.
He cracks me up every time. Nice hit, Shane! Technically, the tight end was the best, who would later become Roy on The Office. Off of that team. He was fantastic. He was just deaf.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Was he on The Office too?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So he was deaf in real life?
No.
Or just happened to play 2 roles in his life?
Oh, no, he wasn't. Sorry, no, he wasn't deaf on The Office. I
Okay.
was like, yeah, he was on The Office. That's what I said.
Okay.
I get it. I get the question now. Oh, man. I feel like Jamie always has a handicap of food questions because he has the taste of a 12-year-old. Do you feel slighted?
I'm over it. I don't really... It doesn't really bother me that I lose the food questions. I'm not gonna lie to you to try to win the point.
Seems like he's bothered.
I'm bothered by some things, not by losing the points.
just the person you lost the point to. Like 5 years ago on Black Friday, we were after this Ninja Turtle bike. Sweet. I get there, they have only one left. 2 grown women are having a fist fight over it. Once they fell to the ground, I wheeled the bike away, brought it home. Merry Christmas, son. That's smart. Let the other two competitors take themselves out.
Let's scoop up the mess and ride to freedom.
Get a Bobby Boucher, no question.
That's a good one.
Good.
It's a good one.
He was good. Stallone is the best fictional movie athlete. That from Shelley. Rocky was pretty good. Did you then go fishing in the dark, Jackson?
No, I went home. I passed out. I got home at like 4 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
But I have gone fishing at night before.
It's good times. It's good times. We should do that together as a trio.
All night
really a
fishing
fisherman.
party.
You'll have fun.
I'm not really a fisherman. Don't really
We'll bring
enjoy
other
the whole
stuff. We'll bring-
fishing thing.
Fishing's about the
Games.
people you're with, not
That's
the
so-
activity that you're doing.
I was trying to go along with it, and then you said that, and it's not always, no. It was the case. That's not why I do it.
Just not feeling it today, Jackson. Just not feeling it.
We have ketchup tacos. Can bring you in. Huh?
I don't need any tacos. Thanks.
Okay.
Clint.
We'll work on them. If the Pokes lose, is Gundy's seat warming?
I don't think so. I mean, he's had too much success there. That would be silly.
I think he would
A
have
year
to.
removed from being in the Big 12 championship game.
Yeah.
I mean,
And again,
especially seeing how the team was pretty good, and then all of a sudden, some injuries really crippled them. You know, like the same thing we have over and over and over every single year. Poor Oklahoma State finally has had some of that happen to them. Breaks your heart.
And they're still bowl eligible though. Like this is
Yeah.
he's missed the bowl game once in his
Yeah.
almost 20-year coaching career there at Oklahoma State, and it was the first year. And I don't see them wanting to get rid of him. And I wouldn't see that happening. Now, you get a couple of years and it's stale, something like that. Maybe it comes back to that, but I think he's built up so much equity, which doesn't always work, but at this point where he's at, it's not like 4 or 5 years equity. It's not an Auburn situation of building up equity. It seems like he's pretty stapled in there for as long as he wants to be. Could be wrong, but
Should be. I would love for them, Oklahoma State, to lose their mind and get rid of him.
yeah.
That'd be
please,
great.
Please.
Yes.
Please.
Be great.
All right, Jamie, you have a question of the day for us?
I do.
On 100.7 The Score is presented by Bizarre Solutions. Call them today for a free cybersecurity audit.
Okay, this was yesterday's question for the guys on the morning drive. And I got a rather interesting answer from one of the guys. 3 games left in the season. How many games do you think the Red Raider football team will win?
I'm not going to let the TCU results sway, because before the TCU game, I thought you were going to go 2-2, get to 6-6, and I expected you to lose the TCU game as one of those losses. And so again, this goes back to him trying not to have the overreaction of just dramatically shifting my thoughts on it. Now, I also thought you were going to have a healthy-esque kind of banking that Morton behind center, but I still think you can get it done with Smith. I need to see more from Shuck. And we've heard Coach McGuire say yet again, you will see both quarterbacks. I want to bang my head in the wall.
I don't need to see more from Shuck.
I don't either.
Not until he's healthy or right. He just doesn't look right to me right now.
Yeah. And it's decision-making, arm, hesitancy, reading. And it's go through the list of things that I was just kind of taken aback from by watching his performance when he came in. All 3 are winnable ball games. I think it is a little bit interesting that you have a Kansas team coming in now not fighting for their bowl lives. I think you'll still get a good performance out of them, but it adds a little bit of edge, right? Same thing for going to Iowa State. The difference with Iowa State is instead of me seeing if they lose the next 2 and they can't go to a bowl game, will they fold up by the time you get there? Well, you're not going to see that now. So I still think you get 2, though. I think you go 2-1.
Okay. Which one's the loss?
I think you lose to Oklahoma. As gross as that sounds, I think you lose to Oklahoma at home.
I think they've definitely righted the ship a decent amount, in my opinion. So it's not hard. That's not hard to believe.
I'm sitting right there with Clint. I think at 2 wins, I don't think it'd be crazy to see them win all 3. I think they easily could. Like, I wouldn't be flabbergasted if somebody claimed 3 wins, but I think it will end up being 2. I think it'll probably be these next 2 as well. I think if this was 2 weeks ago, I probably would have picked all 3 because it would have been an easier Oklahoma game, but I think they are coming into form towards the end of the season. But I think we'll get the 2 to get our bowl.
I don't think 3 is out of the question. Even in your losses, I feel like you've played pretty well for most of those games. It's frustrating that you haven't been able to come out with the last 2, although I did, going into the last 2, feel like you were going to lose both of those games. So I wasn't just shocked by it, but I was really frustrated with those fourth quarters, obviously. Mm-hmm. But I don't think you're going to win all 3. I don't think 0 wins is much of a possibility, but it feels to me like it's a 1 or 2 thing, and I think it's going to be 2. I think it'll be the next 2, with the loss to Oklahoma as well.
Let us know what you think on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Give your prediction over the next 3 games, what you think you will see result-wise and on the field. What jumps out at you this week, now that you have Kansas coming to town?
About Tech, about Kansas?
Let's go about Kansas.
Really good offense, the first thing. So you're going to have to score points to keep up. I don't think your defense, although I have a lot of faith in your defense, I don't think your defense is just going to shut them down and make this, you score 24 and you're out of the woods and you're good to go. I think you've got to score more than that. I think Kansas's defense, as impressed as I am with their offense, I think their defense is equally bad for the most part. So I think this is a game that's like many Big 12 games we've seen this year, where you're going to be, in the mid to high 30s, somewhere in there, maybe a 38-31 game or something like that. Like, it just feels like that's been like 75% of the Big 12 games this year.
Mm-hmm. It's the bottom line on 100.7 The Score, 107thescore.com. Hour number 3 when we come back.
Getting to the point, but taking the scenic route to get there. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it is once again time to play a little No Diggity. Play it right here on the bottom line, 2:15, every single weekday. You got us on 100.7 The Score and 107thescore.com. Hit us up on the Yates Flooring Center chat line with all your thoughts, comments, and your level of diggity with your digitometer to said situation that I throw out to Jamie Jackson and you are fine listening audience. I want to go to the NFL, if you will go there with me as well, gentlemen. And you saw a firing this week, and to me, an interesting, at least interim hire. The Colts let go of Frank Reich because the offense has just been terrible. Worst turnover difference in the league. Not scoring points at all. And it makes sense. And also part of this, I think this is what happens when you keep on trying to lean on retread quarterbacks to lead an offense. Now, you, up to this point, also had a good running game, but I mean, it hasn't been the same of what it's been over the past few years. And Matt Ryan has just looked old, to be frank. Not Frank Reich. And you look at who the replacement is from Jim Irsay, and it is, not Gus Bradley, the defensive coordinator, which, by the way, the defense has been good to at times great, and that is without Shaq Leonard for most of this season. I think 5th best defense yardage-wise, and then points-wise, somewhere around 10th, which when you look at, again, the turnovers that the offense is giving and probably the yardage, all of that going into it, pretty impressive, right? Should be feeling great if you're a Colts fan about the defense. But instead of someone like that, it's old Colts center, Mr. Jeff Saturday. Not an NFL coach. If you're wondering where he's been, I enjoy his work on this, but he's an ESPN analyst, or had been. Now, this is, again, just the interim hire. I don't think it's we're bringing in this guy because who knows? He could be head coach forever. I guess I'm not in Irsay's mind, so maybe that is the case. Who's already had to back this up because it's had a little bit of backlash, labeling him as fully capable. And, who wouldn't want to bet on this guy? Put your money down, all that stuff for Jeff Saturday. But I want to know from you guys. And again, Jeff Saturday was a great player, great center for the Colts, and centerpiece for success. And I know Peyton Manning probably loved to have him on the offensive line, all that. But this is a whole new beast. I want to know for you two guys, if you were a Colts fan, are you excited by this hire?
Well, first off, he's only the interim.
Interim, yeah. I mean,
okay, so you're just getting through the season. That's not to say he's your guy moving forward.
Sure.
Would it have been a smoother transition if they had just taken one of their assistant coaches and put him in there as the leader, as the head coach? Probably would have, but if I was a Colts fan, would I be excited? I don't know. I probably would, because Jeff Saturday is a guy that I love, is one of our guys that was, thought of as be really good and really smart and all the above. And so I probably wouldn't hate it. So my digitometer says that I would be at like an excitement level of 8.
About right there. Okay. Mm-hmm. Jackson?
I would be pretty excited. I'd be confused at the same time. But to me, it kind of seems like they're partially auditioning him to see if he could make a good coach, while also doing something that might interest fans while they kind of maybe tank the rest of the season to go hopefully get their quarterback.
I feel like if they had signed him to like a 3-year deal or whatever, then I would have been like, can we see if this guy can coach before we actually make the decision to do that? But they didn't do that. I mean, he's just the interim coach.
And that is the key. And I get that they haven't labeled this as, we found the solution for the next 5 years. It's Jeff Saturday. Who would that be for the Bills, and who would that be for the Eagles? Because I'm trying to think of this from like my perspective with the Chiefs. And maybe it's like I don't know. I guess a Will Shields would be a great one to bring up. And I mean, great on the offensive line for them for years. I think a lot of them thought of him as a smart player, smart blocker, maybe like a Tony Gonzalez. But still, if they were in the run that the Colts have been in, and you knew that it was probably time to make a change and it wasn't working, and they announced one of them, though, I would go, okay, we have officially thrown the towel in, which, by the way, they're only 2 games behind in their own division, but I get it.
Yeah, I mean, of the 90s era Bills that were really good, I can't think of any of those guys that are in the coaching profession except one. Here's some irony for you. Frank Reich. Okay. Yeah. So I guess Frank Reich would be that guy where I'd be like, okay, I'll give him a shot as the OC. Yeah. Okay. I don't know that I want to be the head coach, seeing how things went there, but yeah.
That's unfortunate.
I could see it super easily with like Jason Kelsey, though, for the Eagles, just because that's kind of paralleling Saturday.
Who was the linebacker for the Eagles? Brooks. He's an analyst, isn't he? Something like that? Some sort of media personality?
There's D'Amico Ryans, who's the defensive coordinator for the 49ers, and then Ocho was technically an Eagles player for a little bit.
Yeah, I guess the connection to the player side would be fun, maybe. Again, I'm trying to put myself in their shoes and think of who that person would mean to me in the franchise that I root for. And even then, I mean, like I said, like Tony Gonzalez, all-time Chiefs favorite and one of, if not the best tight end of all time. Label all of these things. Media guy, analyst type role.
Mm-hmm.
But if the Chiefs were in a drain, I don't know if I'd be just, I don't know, the throw, I can't get over the throw in the towel kind of mentality feel to me that I have for it. Because again, it's better this way that it's just interim and it's not like this is the solution to the most elite coaching profession there is for professional football, right? And you bring a guy who hasn't been a coach.
Yeah, but he has been a coach in some other league, USFL or something. I can't remember what they said. He has been a head coach.
Well, forgive me.
Not in the NFL, obviously. Not in the NFL, obviously. I think Jackson brings up a good point, though, but it's like him, it's him, seeing if he can do the job, right? It's his chance to give it a go, and they're like, okay, well, on a short-term basis here, we can see if the guy can inspire the team, and we can, put something better together than what we've seen in the past. So, I don't know, and you do it at a short-term basis. Maybe it'd be too quick of if he's going to show any kind of improvement with the team, he wouldn't have enough time to do that. But I don't know, you get a feel for how the team felt about him. See if the team's playing hard and all that good stuff.
So who knows? I mean, wouldn't that be though? As much as I'm just kind of would be out on it, if it worked out, and he was like the head coach there for like 5-6 years, maybe longer. Just be an interesting story.
No, it wasn't. It was a high school that he was the head coach.
I was going to say
he was a high school.
So
yeah.
So there you go.
I don't even know if that should even count.
No, it shouldn't. I'll say it shouldn't count.
More than Cliff Kingsbury had when he took over here as a head coach.
I guess it's just even just the analyst jump without, and I don't know. I guess it doesn't. We've seen plenty of times where you work up the ladder and you're still not a good head coach. So it's not like that's just a proven route, but it just, I don't know. Chances to me slim and none. And I just personally, if I was a Colts fan, I would be like, well, we've given up. How many games do we have to get to the number 1 draft pick next year? Because apparently that's what we're playing for.
I think it's fair for them to. I don't even think they have to give up on the season. It's just the reality is you're not good.
Mm-hmm. Boy, what does that say though about Frank Reich if there is any sort of offensive pulse? Because it has just been nightmare situation over there to be a Colts fan. And again, your defense has kept you in a bunch of games this year, and yet you're still looking at 3-5. And it's not like the defense is the Bears defense a few years ago that lost to the Colts that's bringing you the Super Bowl. It's not like the Ravens defense, Bucs defense, labeled defense that's been good enough to take you on a run or just have a winning season, but still feels like you're wasting a pretty good unit over there.
Yeah, and again, you're doing it with just like you said earlier.
This has been the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score. Go to 100-7thescore.com for more from the Double T Sports Network.